Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading today here at MadWorldTarot. Today we are looking at money matters, not Parkle finances, not Parkle joint finances. We're looking at Meghan. And first of all, we are looking at this old story, which for some reason has been recycled today in the Express newspaper, about Meghan Markle doing her royal walkabouts in Australia, that very first tour that Harry and Meghan did. It was Australia and Tonga and various other places. And Meghan complaining. According to Valentine Lowe in his book Courtiers, she was heard to say, "I can't believe I'm not getting paid for this." And of course, Valentine Lowe explained in his book that Meghan Markle was quite happy to have the attention of the adoring crowds who had gathered to see her and Harry, but she was quite incensed that she was doing all this hard work of shaking hands with all these enthusiastic royalists, but not being paid. So we're going to have a look at this. Also, we're going to just remember, while we're on these old stories of Meghan and money and her attitude to being a working royal, we're going to remind that there was a rumor that Meghan wanted to modernize. I said monetize. Well, yes, she wanted to modernize the royals. In fact, she wanted to monetize the royals by selling tickets to events like Trooping the Colour, and then there would be a raffle, and the winning ticket would have an opportunity to be on the balcony and wave at the masses gathered below. Can you imagine? It's so tacky. You win, you get to stand on the balcony and wave, and you get a selfie with the Queen. Like she apparently promised some of the celebs who went to her wedding that they'd get a selfie with the Queen. Didn't happen. She didn't even manage to get a selfie with the Queen for her, shall we say, alleged daughter, Lily. I know some people really are offended by her being called Lily Bet. Anyway, so that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at her financial expectations going into the royal family, her feelings on discovering that she had to do these walkabouts. They're a major part of being royal, but she would not be being paid for doing that. How the Queen felt, the late Queen, felt when she heard, as no doubt she did hear, I'm sure that it was relayed back to her, that Meghan Markle thought she should be paid for doing this, and how the Queen felt about monetizing things like Trooping the Colour. Is this the reason that Meghan left the royal family and went whizzing back to California, or was she perhaps hoofed out of the royal family as a result of this kind of demand and this tacky suggestion that royal events be monetized, charge the crowd a fee to attend? Our underlying energy, and I need to just remind you, it's tarot, it's for fun and entertainment, it's all my opinion, it's all speculation, just read energy, and of course disclaimer in the box below. And we have the Apprentice Tarot on the tarot table today. That's the Learning Tarot, and this is someone who was supposed to be learning the ropes about being a royal and what it all meant, but no, Harry had explained it all to her. Can you imagine having something to explained it to you by the has-been with crayon and your colouring in book possibly, but I don't think has-been really understood much about what being a royal meant, as we have seen. This is my opinion, of course. And so she didn't need lessons, and she didn't need anybody's assistance or guidance or any of that stuff. So underlying energy, we have the Knight of Wands, restless, hot-headed, unpredictable, brash, oh so brash, and fizzling out. Indeed, she did fizzle out. She lost interest in the project pretty quickly, as she has lost interest in many projects since, and not only projects that she's lost interest in, she's lost interest in marriages as well along the way. And there's lots of speculation she might have lost interest in this particular marriage and be trying to find a way out by becoming super wealthy. Next reading. I said today we're looking at Meghan and her finances. So anyway, there is someone who is brash, who is impetuous, who is very difficult to pin down, and if they don't like something, that Knight of Wands energy in reverse, they'll just disappear. They won't even give an explanation of why they've gone. They will just go. So I think we're getting a clue as to how this all went. Well, of course, we know how it went, but we're going to find out whether she got a boot in her behind that sort of shoved her out of the royal family, or not a boot. The Queen always wore those, one particular shoe. As I recall, Angela Kelly had to wear them in for her. They had the same, or they Clark's shoes, I'm not sure. The same shoe relentlessly, whatever outfit she had on, she wore the same black shoes. And Angela Kelly, one of her tasks was to actually soften the leather for the late Queen. So, situation, I wonder what Angela Kelly thought of all of this and still thinks. Well, here we have the poverty card, the 5 of Pentacles. It's in reverse. Isn't it interesting that it says ask for help, getting help, difficulty lessons. I thought it said difficult lessons. This was a difficult lesson, I think, for everyone in the royal family. It's the being broken, outcast card, being cast into outer darkness, endless night. And it's in reverse because, of course, Meghan allegedly was going through a bit of a rough time. She'd been written out of suits, or she was being written out of suits. She didn't have anything saved. She hadn't bought property. She didn't even own a car or anything like that at the time when she met the has-been. So she was in some financial difficulty, and then came this opportunity to save the situation by joining the royal family. And inherent in that 5 of Pentacles in reverse is the desire to turn a financial situation around. Not only her financial situation seemingly, but also the royal family, as if their financial situation needed turning around. But perhaps she thought that that's the fresh insight she could bring to the royals from California, well, via Toronto, and the Mulrooneys, her new friends, the Mulrooneys and Marcus Anderson. So there we have it, asking for help. No, she didn't ask for help. She offered her insights, which would also be covered by that card, her very trashy insights. So let's see what her financial expectations were when she joined the royal family that possibly the has-been had promised her. And we've got the 6 of Wands, and it's all about me. It's not about money so much. It's about ego. The 6 of Wands, upright as success and victory and all those marvelous things. But in reverse, it becomes arrogant, it becomes egotistical, narcissistic. It's seeking praise and fame. And that's what she was really in it for. That she just wanted to elevate herself. There's a word that we haven't heard recently, cough, cough. She wanted to elevate herself, I suspect, over everyone else. I think this was the idea that she would come in and she wouldn't enter the royal family slowly. I can't remember the exact expression, but she would hit the ground running. There it is. She would hit the ground running. She would overtake everyone else. She would show her worth by making these bizarre suggestions and gaining all this attention for herself. It's not a money card. So I think she assumed that there would be money. I don't think she really thought it through. I think being hot-headed, being impetuous, being a know-it-all, I think she just assumed there would be tons of money. She could just luxuriate in jewels and designer clothes and holidays away at all kinds of glamorous destinations, not have to work too hard, and everyone would be amazed at her accomplishments and how brilliant she was. So how did she feel when she discovered she'd have to do a lot of meeting and greeting and shaking sweaty palms and making inane conversation, going up and down a crowd of people gawping at her? I would find it unnerving, but that's just me, and would not really know how to handle the situation. Meghan, obviously bored, obviously after the initial thrill of having all these people, these adoring people queuing to see her, thought, really, I could be lying in bed with my bottle of rosé and my baguette rather than doing this. So how did she feel when she found out the truth? Knight of Pentacles, and it's in reverse. Progress is too slow or at a standstill. All work, no play. Uninspired. Knight of Pentacles is the has-been card. Traditionally, it's the Prince, the earth sign Prince. Steady progress, hard work, showing up, being dutiful, being diligent. That's Harry's energy. She's undermined him as well. The card is telling me energetically, by being in reverse, knocked him off his stride, or knocked him off his, not pedestal, but just off his path, and bored, frustrated, impatient with it. It's taking too long. I was supposed to be a billionaire, joined the monarchy. There's the billions that they're supposed to be coming my way. We're still living in this grubby cottage on the grounds of Kensington Palace. And, you know, all I've got so far is those blood diamonds from our friend in Saudi. I'm using friend very loosely. Very bored, very frustrated, very impatient, ready to quit, ready to abandon her duty, abandon his duty, and go off and seek greener pastures where things would obviously be more exciting and the money would be easier to get her claws on. How did the late Queen feel when she heard this? I can't believe I'm not getting paid for this comment, as I'm very certain she did. How did she feel about this? And we have the Fool. And it's quite a forgiving energy, actually. Although inherent in it is thinking, oh, how stupid you are. We can read that card like that this time around, in my opinion. But it's more forgiving. It's more like, oh, how naive you are, how silly you are, how gullible you were. There is a bit of a chuckle in there. Because I think the late Queen had sized her up long before, figured her out, realized what she was all about. She was all about the money and the status and the self-importance and the self-aggrandizement and trashy and all of that. I think the late Queen had plenty of opportunity to assess Meghan Markle and appraise her and value her, find her true value, her true trashy value. But that card is just, as I say, I keep getting this kind of a chuckle. How stupid you are, how silly you are, how naive you are. You signed up with us and you really had no idea. And the has-been didn't explain it to you at all, because he really has no idea either. And how is this going to go? And perhaps we're going to make it so difficult for you that you leave. And that trip to Morocco, which always raised eyebrows when Meghan was at least 15 months pregnant and had her Oscar dress ready, that kimono-y thing, and then found herself forced off the red carpet. Only the has-been was allowed to strut up and down the red carpet. Meghan had that minder that wouldn't let her near it. That tour was very awkward. And shortly after that was the end of the Parkles and was Megxit. As I say, I'm getting some entertainment from the situation that Meghan unwittingly found herself in. How did the Queen feel about this notion that they could monetize the royal family, sell tickets to Trooping the Colour, and I don't know, what else, Remembrance Day, and things like that, weddings, funerals. There could be a sort of lottery and you might get a ticket. Then there you too could be marching behind the royals, or even in front, as Meghan quite often did march in front of the royals, including the Queen. How did the Queen feel about this one? Oh, no, you don't. This not getting paid thing is ha ha ha. I can imagine the Queen and Prince Philip over their cornflakes and their Tupperware, in their pyjamas and their slippers. Well, the Queen anyway. I can't imagine Prince Philip in such humdrum gear, having a good old laugh at it. But this, no. This is the Hierophant. This is tradition. This is institutions, following the rules, compliance. This is absolutely conforming with what is expected of you, and it's in reverse. Don't you dare even think this thought. You will not debase the royal family like this. You will not undermine our traditions and our our standing and our role. Absolutely not. That went down like a lead balloon. So I'm getting a strong energy here of being bored and wanting out. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Also of Queen making life difficult and Queen not appreciating, the late Queen not appreciating this crass woman, actress, D-list actress coming in and trying to change what had stood for 1,000 years. So I'm also getting energy of the boot and being booted out. So how did it go? And we have the 8 of Swords. This is why Megan left. She left because of her self-limiting vision, victim mentality. She didn't understand what this whole thing was about. The 8 of Swords is being stuck in a certain worldview, in a certain mindset. You think yourself into the situation and then you can't see differently, so you can't extricate yourself from the mess. The Fool that the late Queen saw her as got herself into this predicament because she didn't understand. She didn't have the worldview, the experience, the breadth of imagination, culture, interest, self-awareness, anything like that. She had no grasp of history or any of those things, politics, to understand what this really meant. She just wanted the power and the glory. She didn't get it. So I'm out. I'm off. I'm going to gallop off somewhere else because she felt that it was diminishing her victim mentality in this card as well. So it's the reason she really wanted to go and take the has-been with her, Knight of Pentacles in reverse. But I do think that if there wasn't actually a boot in the backside, there was encouragement for Megan to leave. I think the late Queen played a very strategic game, and I'm sure that she was helped in this strategic game by Prince Philip to make Meghan Markle's life as uncomfortable as possible so that she would leave and take the Gormless has-been with her. I think they thought the has-been would come scurrying back in that sort of year of grace. Of course he didn't. But it's quite interesting how the energy that's coming off these two cards, the Queen's energy, Meghan bored, shallow, vulgar, impetuous, and the Queen standing with this tradition, supporting this tradition, defending this tradition, seeing Meghan, in my opinion anyway, for the fool that she was and, in my opinion, still is. That is the reading, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.